Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
The latest scandal swirling around Seeing Diddy Combs has everyone talking, and it's not just about the music mogul himself. With his arrest making headlines and the details of the allegations against him getting darker by the day, there's growing speculation that Diddy might be on the verge of blowing the lid off a scandal that could rock Hollywood to its core. It's a situation reminiscent of the notorious case of Jeffrey Epstein. Only this time, the potential fallout could drag some of the biggest names in entertainment into the spotlight. So, what exactly is going on? And why does Joe Rogan, of all people, think that Diddy is about to take down an entire roster of elites?
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Now, let's get right into it. Diddy has been facing a wave of legal troubles recently, with accusations flying left and right. From long-standing civil cases to serious federal charges, it's clear that things are spiraling for the man who once seemed untouchable in both the music and business worlds. But what's really sending shockwaves through the industry are whispers that Diddy might not be going down alone. Rumors have been circulating that he could flip the script and turn on other powerful figures, Hollywood elites who might have been involved in the same activities he's being accused of. If this happens, it could trigger a chain reaction that exposes hidden secrets across the entertainment industry.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine. But in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from. I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell, right?
And this is where Joe Rogan enters the picture. Rogan, whose podcast has become the go-to source for hot takes on just about every major news story, recently suggested that Diddy might end up cooperating with federal authorities to save himself. In a recent episode of his show, Rogan compared the situation to Epstein's infamous downfall, pointing out how Epstein's arrest and subsequent demise left a lot of people wondering about the elite network that surrounded him. According to Rogan, Diddy could be in a similar position, facing serious charges and with everything to lose. The possibility that Diddy might start naming names to reduce his own sentence is what has everyone on edge. Rogan speculated that Diddy could, in effect, sing to federal investigators, providing them with the names of other Hollywood heavyweights involved in illegal activities.
The story we're tracking, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after two judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from sex workers very soon.
So why is the FBI so interested in Diddy right now? Well, it's not just about one or two isolated incidents. The charges against him are far-reaching and involve a lot of different allegations that paint a picture of a long-standing pattern of behavior. According to federal prosecutors, Diddy has been involved in a wide array of serious activities, and the indictment against him includes accusations like racketeering, trafficking, and transportation for purposes of misconduct. These charges are massive in scale, and they suggest that Diddy's empire wasn't just built on music and business deals, but something much more sinister.
Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
One of the most shocking parts of the indictment involves Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, which, according to the allegations, were wild events that lasted for days and were designed to exploit those involved. These weren't just your average Hollywood parties. The indictment claims that many of these events were carefully orchestrated, with Diddy using his influence and wealth to control people and manipulate them into doing whatever he wanted. The FBI's investigation has been thorough. Agents have already raided Diddy's properties in Los Angeles and Miami, seizing a massive amount of evidence. We're talking terabytes of data, hundreds of subpoenas, and devices filled with incriminating material. This isn't just a case of a few allegations. It's a well-constructed operation built over years, if not decades.
With very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his home.
What's even more interesting is how federal authorities seem to be building a case that stretches beyond Diddy himself. The fact that they've seized so much evidence suggests they're looking for connections, ties that might link other powerful figures in the entertainment industry to the same network of exploitation that Diddy is being accused of running. The word on the street is that there are people in Hollywood who are sweating right now, wondering if their own involvement will be exposed.
Clearly, there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
Rogan's podcast has been key in fanning the flames of these suspicions. He talked at length about how similar this situation feels to the Epstein case, where a network of influential people were implicated, but many managed to escape the consequences when Epstein was arrested. This time around, however, Rogan hinted that the pressure on Diddy could force him to cooperate with authorities in a way that Epstein never did. In other words, Diddy might be willing to bring others down with him if it means securing a lighter sentence for himself. It's this idea, the possibility of a massive Hollywood expose, that has everyone buzzing.
Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
It doesn't stop there. The connections that Diddy has built over the years are extensive. He's been a major player in both the music and film industries, rubbing shoulders with countless celebrities, politicians, and business leaders. If Diddy decides to cooperate, the ripple effect could be enormous. Some of the names already being thrown around are shocking. Prince Harry's name has come up in rumors, not because he's been accused of any wrongdoing, but because of alleged connections to people in Diddy's circle. And then there's Clive Davis, the legendary music executive who was one of Diddy's biggest mentors. If Diddy decides to talk, these people, and many others, could find themselves in the crosshairs of a federal investigation.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
Right now, there's a lot of speculation about who might be implicated if Diddy starts cooperating. The entertainment industry is filled with powerful people who have long enjoyed immunity from legal consequences thanks to their money and connections. But Diddy's situation is starting to feel like a tipping point. If the FBI is serious about cracking down on these kinds of activities, Diddy could be the one who finally brings Hollywood's darkest secrets to light. The question is, how many other people will go down with him?
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it.
The scale of Diddy's alleged crimes has people wondering just how far the investigation will go. Some are saying that the evidence collected in those raids could implicate dozens of people, from industry insiders to politicians and even royalty. The idea that Diddy has been involved in such a wide-reaching operation is almost too wild to believe, but the details emerging from the case suggest that there could be truth to it. And as we've seen in other scandals where smoke, there's usually fire.
Special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
But how did things get to this point? It's clear that the federal government is serious about this investigation, and they've been building their case for months. In March, agents raided Diddy's homes, seizing phones, computers, and other devices that could provide evidence of his involvement in the alleged misconduct. The indictment itself outlines a pattern of behavior that stretches back years, with allegations that Diddy and his associates used their power and influence to control others. This isn't just a case of misconduct. It's a full-blown operation that the FBI believes involved many high-profile individuals.
That's not the issue. The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
What's really interesting is the timing of these raids and Diddy's arrest. The federal government doesn't launch these kinds of investigations lightly. The fact that they've taken such aggressive steps suggests that they believe there's a lot more to this case than just Diddy's actions. They're likely looking at a broader network of people who were involved, and the evidence they've collected could start implicating others in the coming weeks and months.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
This is where the comparison to the Epstein case becomes even more compelling. Just like with Epstein, there's a real possibility that Diddy's downfall could lead to a domino effect, with more names being revealed as investigators dig deeper into his connections. Epstein's case left a lot of people wondering how many powerful figures escaped scrutiny, but Diddy's case could be different. If Rogan is right and Diddy chooses to cooperate with authorities, this could be the moment when some of Hollywood's most untouchable figures are finally exposed.
The evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named.
Rogan also made it clear that this isn't just about Diddy. It's about a system that has protected powerful people for years. In his podcast, he pointed out that when scandals like this break, it's often the tip of the iceberg. There's usually a much bigger story lurking beneath the surface. And this time, the FBI might be determined to uncover the whole thing. If that happens, we could see a lot of big names being dragged into court, facing questions about their own involvement in Diddy's activities. And with Diddy's future on the line, there's every reason to believe he'll cooperate if it means avoiding a lifetime behind bars.
Workers. One of them says that they had an interaction with Diddy in 2014, and they are willing to tell the feds what they know about that interaction.
Jeremy Saland, a criminal defense attorney, weighing in.
Now, let's talk about the charges themselves. Diddy is facing some of the most serious accusations you can imagine. The federal indictment includes charges that could land him in prison for decades. We're talking about allegations that go beyond simple misconduct. There are claims that Diddy orchestrated a sophisticated operation designed to exploit others. And the evidence, well, according to prosecutors, there's a mountain of it. The raids on his properties yielded terabytes of data, and investigators have been combing through hundreds of electronic devices. The scale of this investigation suggests that the authorities are preparing for a long legal battle and that they're confident they have enough evidence to make the charges stick.
In a solitary part of the jail, because they don't, he becomes a target because it's like what we've been told is.
One of the more disturbing allegations involves Diddy's manipulation of those around him, using his influence to control them. The indictment claims that he held power over people in ways that allowed him to orchestrate these events without anyone questioning him. It's the kind of behavior that mirrors what we saw in the Epstein case, where a powerful figure used his connections and resources to carry out a network of inappropriate activities, all while keeping others in line. If these allegations are true, it would mean that Diddy's influence wasn't just about making hit records and building a business empire. It was about using that influence to cover up actions that could bring down an entire network of powerful people.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was sexually assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs drugged and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
And it's not just the FBI that's after Diddy. There have been a series of civil lawsuits that have been piling up against him in recent months. It all started with Cassie, his former partner, who came forward with explosive allegations about their relationship. She accused Diddy of manipulating and mistreating her for years, and her lawsuit opened the floodgates for others to come forward with similar stories. These lawsuits are all playing out against the backdrop of Diddy's criminal case, and they're adding to the growing sense that the walls are closing in around him.
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy. Yikes. She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
It's also worth noting that Diddy's legal troubles have already started affecting his business. Shortly after the news of his arrest broke, several of his business ventures took a hit. Revolt, the media company Diddy founded, has distanced itself from him, and his partnership with a charter school in Harlem was abruptly ended. Even a reality show he was developing for Hulu has been scrapped. It seems like everyone is trying to distance themselves from Diddy right now, and the fallout could get even worse if more names get dragged into the scandal.
Basically what that means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st, right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. Mm-hmm. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay the plaintiff.
As the case against Diddy moves forward, all eyes are on the FBI. Will they be able to prove the allegations? And more importantly, will Diddy start cooperating to save himself? If he does, it could lead to one of the biggest scandals Hollywood has ever seen. The stakes couldn't be higher for Diddy as his legal troubles intensify. But as the investigation continues, it's clear that Diddy is far from the only one under the microscope. His high-profile connections within the music and entertainment industries are being scrutinized like never before, with names of powerful figures being whispered behind the scenes. And it's not just Diddy's actions that are raising eyebrows, it's the people who have been in his corner supporting and enabling him for years that are also coming into question. Could some of the most influential figures in entertainment be caught up in this web of controversy? It seems like Diddy's downfall might just be the beginning.
And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
Let's start with Clive Davis, a music industry legend and a man who played a pivotal role in Diddy's rise to fame. Davis isn't just any record executive. He's a 5-time Grammy Award winner who has helped shape the careers of superstars like Whitney Houston and Alicia Keys. But behind the scenes, rumors have been swirling about his relationship with Diddy, and some are beginning to wonder if Davis knew more than he let on about Diddy's questionable activities over the years. For years, Davis mentored Diddy, helping him establish Bad Boy Records and guiding him through the rough patches of his career. But according to some insiders, Davis may have done more than just mentor Diddy. He may have helped protect him. Jaguar Wright, a singer known for her outspoken nature, has claimed that Davis was instrumental in shaping Diddy's career, but not always in a positive way. She suggested that Davis guided Diddy into circles that may have influenced his darker behaviors and that Davis turned a blind eye when things started to go wrong. Wright even implied that Davis may have played a role in enabling some of Diddy's alleged misconduct, helping him navigate the industry while covering up the darker sides of his personality. According to Wright, Davis is one of the reasons Diddy is who he is today. This dynamic between Davis and Diddy has raised serious questions. Could Davis have known about the activities that are now coming to light? Was he aware of the rumors about Diddy's notorious parties and allegations of inappropriate behavior? And if so, why didn't he do anything to stop it? Some believe that Davis, as one of the most powerful men in music, may have had the influence to protect Diddy from the consequences of his actions, ensuring that his protege's bad behavior stayed under the radar for years. Of course, Davis himself has remained silent on these accusations, refusing to comment publicly on Diddy's legal troubles. But in the world of celebrity gossip, silence can often speak louder than words. It's not just Clive Davis who's been pulled into this mess. Another industry heavyweight who has stood by Diddy's side for years is Jermaine Dupri. Dupri, who founded So Def Recordings and helped launch the careers of artists like Usher and Bow Wow, has a long-standing friendship with Diddy that dates back decades. The two were often seen partying together, dominating the charts in the 90s and early 2000s. And now, as Diddy's legal woes escalate, Dupri has been one of the few people to publicly defend him.
This is in the matter of Derek Lee Cardello Smith, MDOC number 267009, versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records, label owner, founder.
But here's the thing. Dupri's defense of Diddy has raised some eyebrows. While many in the industry have distanced themselves from Diddy in the wake of the allegations, Dupri has remained loyal, downplaying the seriousness of the situation. He's called the recent federal raids on Diddy's properties unnecessary and suggested that the whole thing has been blown out of proportion. To Dupri, it's just another case of a wealthy celebrity being targeted because of his success. Nothing's going to come from this, Dupri said in a recent interview. They're making a big deal out of nothing. Diddy's not the first guy to face accusations like this, and he won't be the last.
Had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Some might see Dupri's words as those of a loyal friend standing by Diddy in his time of need, but others wonder if there's more to the story. Could Dupri's public defense of Diddy be an attempt to protect himself? After all, Dupri was a regular at Diddy's infamous parties and has been closely associated with him for years. If Diddy starts talking, who knows how far the fallout could spread? There's already speculation that Dupri, like many of Diddy's other friends and associates, might have had a front row seat to some of the activities that are now under investigation. Whether or not Dupri knew the full extent of what was happening, his dismissive attitude toward the charges against Diddy could end up hurting him in the long run.
This could bring unwanted attention from other inmates and be a threat to Diddy.
What we've been told by a former warden is he's a target. That's the fact of the matter, and that's why they have him in a solitary.
What's even more telling is the silence from other big names in the industry. Dr. Dre, another legendary producer who has worked closely with Diddy in the past, has remained suspiciously quiet since the news of Diddy's arrest broke. Dre and Diddy have shared a close friendship over the years, collaborating on various projects and even celebrating milestones together. But as the scandal grows, Dre has chosen to keep his distance, refusing to comment on the situation or offer any public support for his longtime friend. This silence has led some to wonder if Dre, like others in Diddy's circle, might be worried about being implicated in the investigation. After all, Diddy's connections run deep, and if federal investigators are looking into his social and professional networks, it's not a stretch to think that Dre could be dragged into the mess. While there's no direct evidence linking Dre to any of the allegations against Diddy, his decision to stay quiet speaks volumes. In an industry where reputation is everything, the last thing Dre wants is to get caught up in a scandal of this magnitude. But Dre isn't the only one keeping his head down. There's another figure who has played a major role in Diddy's rise to the top and whose influence has helped him maintain a foothold in the fashion world, Nat Wintour. As the editor-in-chief of Vogue, Wintour has long been a gatekeeper of the fashion industry, and her close relationship with Diddy has raised some interesting questions in light of the current scandal. Diddy has often credited Wintour with helping him break into the fashion world, calling her a mentor and a key figure in his success outside of music. Wintour's support for Diddy over the years has been clear. She's featured him in Vogue and invited him to some of the most exclusive events in the fashion industry. But as the allegations against Diddy mount, Wintour has been noticeably absent from the conversation. Like many others in Diddy's world, she has chosen to remain silent, distancing herself from the controversy. Given her influence, this silence has not gone unnoticed.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
What's more, there's speculation that Wintour's close ties to Diddy might have helped shield him from scrutiny in the past. With her backing, Diddy was able to gain credibility in a world where reputation is everything, and it's possible that Wintour's influence helped him keep certain rumors at bay. But now that the floodgates have opened, people are starting to wonder if Wintour's support may have inadvertently helped Diddy avoid consequences for his actions. Of course, there's no suggestion that Wintour had any knowledge of the allegations against Diddy, but her decision to remain silent speaks to the larger issue of how powerful figures in the entertainment world often protect each other, whether intentionally or not.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
And then there's Russell Simmons, a music mogul who has faced his own share of controversies in recent years. Simmons has been accused of some serious misdeeds, and while he's denied the allegations, he fled to Bali, a country without an extradition treaty with the US, which has raised more than a few eyebrows. But despite his own legal troubles, Simmons has publicly defended Diddy, even going so far as to post a live video on social media calling for people to support Diddy during this difficult time. For some, Simmons' defense of Diddy is a sign of loyalty, but for others, it's an uncomfortable reminder of the ways powerful men in the industry have each other's backs, even in the face of serious allegations.
Well, either way, if you got to run to a private island because your evil doings are doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has also weighed in, suggesting that Diddy's behavior may have been influenced by the company he kept. According to Deal, Diddy was surrounded by figures like Simmons, Clive Davis, and others who were involved in questionable activities, and it's possible that Diddy learned to adopt these behaviors as he rose to power. Deal's comments have added fuel to the fire, making it clear that Diddy wasn't acting in a vacuum. The people around him may have played a role in shaping the choices he made, and now those same people are starting to feel the heat. The fallout from Diddy's arrest has been swift, and it's only just beginning. As federal investigators continue to dig deeper into his connections, there's no telling how many other big names could be implicated. The entertainment industry has long been known for its secrets, and if Diddy starts talking, the scandal could become one of the biggest Hollywood has ever seen. With figures like Clive Davis, Jermaine Dupri, Dr. Dre, Russell Simmons, and even Anna Wintour potentially caught in the crossfire, the question on everyone's mind is, who will be next? And if Diddy does decide to cooperate with federal investigators, the fallout could be catastrophic for Hollywood's elite. The industry is built on relationships, and if Diddy starts naming names, those relationships could crumble overnight. People who have spent years protecting their reputations might suddenly find themselves under investigation, their careers on the line. It's a scenario that has already played out in other high-profile scandals, but this one could have even bigger consequences.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
As Diddy's situation unfolds, it's clear that this scandal has the potential to unravel some of the entertainment industry's best-kept secrets. The question is, if Diddy does decide to cooperate, how many powerful names could be exposed and just how deep does this web of influence go? Could this be the moment where Hollywood's darkest corners are finally brought into the light? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned for more as this drama continues to unfold. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.